team. Smith alone again, and she calls game. Alana Smith says that'll do it.
Smart for back-to-back trip. She knocks that down again.
Finds her again, wants to push it down the floor. Wilson, big finish, and keep their finals hopes alive.
Round 12 of the WNBL season concludes in the nation's capital with a tantalising matchup between two top four teams. The UC Caps have won their past 6 games on the trot and have surged into second spot on the ladder. But extending that winning streak today will be no easy task against the Melbourne Boomers, who themselves are right in championship contention. Although Guy Malloy's side won't be at full strength today, with a couple of key and very important players missing from their lineup. Hello and welcome to Canberra in the National Convention Centre for this clash between the Caps and the Boomers. Ben Waterworth with you alongside dual WNBL champion Steph Blitzarves. Great to have you alongside me, Steph, for the call of what should be a cracking game on a Sunday afternoon to conclude this round. And as we have a look at the ladder in particular of the WNBL at the moment, this just goes to show how important this game is between the second and fourth place teams today.
It is. It's very important because they're going to look to be getting some form going into finals, because in my opinion it's probably locked in the top 4 at the moment, because Bendigo and Townsville have been really fighting hard, but I think they're just out of reach. Yeah,
they might just run out of games and rounds in the end. The Fire and the Spirit just dropped some games just at the wrong time of the year. But when we get to finals, if it does stay as that top 4, we're in for a mighty final series.
We are, and I think it's going to be a very, very physical battle today.
So an important day as well. It's an important week, and an important 3 weeks, in fact, for the WNBL as we celebrate Indigenous round. And you can see the UC Capitals are in their Indigenous uniform for the first time this season, and importantly, they'll be wearing it for the remainder of their games, including finals. And particularly important for the number 8 there, Abby Cabillo, who herself was a proud Larrakia woman. And it's been fantastic on social media, Steph, over recent days and weeks to see teams donning their Indigenous uniforms, and they all look fantastic.
They absolutely do, and it's just really nice to see that representation throughout the league and everyone getting right behind it, because it's so important to get around.
Yeah, so clubs will be celebrating from rounds 12 to 15 Indigenous round to honour the occasion with their home crowd. And the Capitals are the home team today at the National Convention Centre, and they are a mighty hard team to stop on their home floor. And to make matters worse for the Boomers, the Caps are at full strength today, Steph.
Yeah, they are, and you look at that team and it's just so strong, full of veteran talent as well as some young guns coming up through. So I think the Boomers are going to have a lot on their hands today.
Yeah, it's pretty hard when you get Tali Tapaya, Jade Melbourne, Abby Cabillo, Alicia Froling coming off the bench. Tough task for Guy Malloy and the Melbourne Boomers today as we have a look at how they will line up. So I mentioned that the Boomers will be without a couple of key players today, and they don't come much more important than Ezi Magbegor. So she suffered an injury at the Opals camp. That's why she didn't travel to Serbia. So she stayed home to recover. She played last week, but it flared up again at training this week, so that the club's managing Ezi, and that it's an injury that will continue to be managed. So she's not playing, as well as Izzy Wright, who's out due to the health and safety protocol. So pretty tough task for the Melbourne Boomers today, Steph.
It is, and it's good to see the club doing the right thing and taking care of their players, but it is going to leave them a little bit undermanned. So hopefully their bench players can get that opportunity and really relish in it, and yes, step up to the opportunity.
Great to see Jack Taylor and the WNBL referees in the Indigenous uniforms as well. They'll be presiding over today's proceedings as we get set for the start of this clash between the Capitals and the Melbourne Boomers. Without Ezi Magbegor, Penina Davidson steps up to be in that starting 5. A big task for her, but she's played a lot of basketball in the WNBL over recent years, Steph, and played obviously with the Tall Ferns in New Zealand, so hopefully she can step up against the tall timber of the Capitals today.
Yeah, and I think it's just her having that confidence, because she is so strong and she's a very good player, and having the confidence that she's going to get those opportunities, I think it can just only push her in the right direction, and I can't wait to see what she does today.
She'll be going up against the likes, as we see on screen, of Michaela Roof and Kelsey Griffin. Here's the starting 5, and pretty handy starting 5 at that as well, led by Brittany Sykes, who is having one heck of a season as an import. 8th for points, 1st for steals, 3rd for assists, 7th for blocks. Going okay is Brittany Sykes, as is Kayla George, though, as you can see on screen there, the Boomers captain leading by example, third in the comp for blocks and rebounds, fifth for three-point percentage, really well all-round player. Hard to see the Caps losing today, Steph?
I think just because they have the manpower today, I think they might run over the Boomers, but I've been wrong before, and I'm sure I'll be wrong again, but...
You're not wrong too often, Steph.
It'll be good to watch.
Here's the tip, Sykes v George, as we get underway from the nation's capital. It's the Caps and the Boomers meeting for the first time this WNBL season. It wasn't too long ago when these two teams played off in a semi-final series, 2019-20 championship that ultimately led to the Caps winning their first championship, as Sykes gives the Caps the perfect start with a mid-range two. Great to have you with us on KO Sports on a Sunday afternoon for some WNBL hoops. The Opals there combining in George and Madgen. Back to George with 10 seconds to shoot. Lindsay Allen guarded by Smart, calling for movement. Tries to get the screen from George, puts it up with 2 seconds on the shot clock, and an early stop here for the Caps. Michaela Roof bringing down the rebounds. Wilson, Roof. Beautiful team chemistry, and then a tip from Britt Smart.
Just that desperation to get in there against the tall timber earned herself a couple of points there.
4-0 lead for the Caps. The early stages of this contest. Long range attempt there, drops from Tess Madgen. First points for the Melbourne Boomers. Sykes, Griffin, Wilson. The hand in there from the Melbourne Boomers, so we'll get the ball back with the Caps leading 4-3 early stages of this one. Just imagine we saw on screen just beforehand hitting the first triple of the game. Sykes trying to cross over and work our way into the paint. Great defense from Madgen, almost even better offense from Sykes, and there's Davidson. Really confidence booster, bringing down the defensive rebounds. Madgen works her way into the lane and kisses it beautifully off the glass and into the bucket there for two.
And it looks like Tess is just really keeping that form alive. She's been shooting and playing very well as of late, and it's good to see. It's nice to see she's keeping that going.
12th season in the WNBL, Tess Madgen. George in the post, lost control, almost miraculously went in, but if call has been made here, it will be a Melbourne Boomers ball. 5-4 lead early stages. Here is Madgen showing off that grit and determination.
It's that nice high finish off the glass.
Roof, Wilson, Griffin. Guarded here by George. What a tantalising matchup that is today. Griffin fading away and all nylon with the mid-range two. Griffin gets her scoring underway. Having another terrific season as the Boomers throw the ball away. A bit of a miscommunication on offense. Kelsey Griffin comes into this game in some really good form. In her last two games, 19.7 rebounds, 4 blocks against Southside. And then the team's last game against the Fire, 18 points and 11 rebounds.
And Kelsey's another one that's gone under the radar a little bit this season, just because there's so much firepower in their team if we're looking at Brittany Sykes, and she just does all the hard work and doesn't necessarily get all the recognition for it.
Two serious workhorses, Sykes and Griffin, on the same team. Here's our first real good look at Mitchell for three, well off target on that attempt. And the Caps are starting to rack up a few stops here. Sykes getting busy early. Ominous signs for the Boomers as Griffin put up the three and missed. And Mitchell just able to maintain control of the Spalding off the defensive rebound. Madgen for George. Deadly from deep so far this season. Can't connect on this occasion, but Madgen gives them a fresh 14 seconds. And Allen has an open look for three. And 2 air balls from the Boomers imports from almost exactly the same position early stages.
Must be a little bit windy in this stadium today.
It is tough to score at the National Convention Centre. The Caps have an incredible record over the past 2 to 3 seasons. Obviously, excluding the hub season of 2020. They have an incredible record in the ACT. Sykes. Oh, breaks the ankles of Madgen. Can't hit the two, though. Already we've seen Sykes deadly in the crossover dribble. Here's Madgen working her way inside. And another air ball, but Davidson there to pick up the crumbs and can't get that one to go. So the Boomers getting looks early stages, just not been able to connect. Smart for three. Can't get that one to drop. Smart now 0 of 2 from deep. Great to have you with us for this top 4 clash on KO Sports between these two sides. Madgen getting the screen from Davidson, allows her to put up for three. And I reckon that ball didn't touch the net either, so that's 3 air balls now for the Boomers. Just haven't found their rhythm on offense yet. And Griffin, that's tough. That is Kelsey Griffin at her best. Count the points. She's going to the line to make it a 3-point play.
And she's just so strong down there. Just has great body awareness, able to finish that tough shot and get herself to the line.
Off balance. Wrong side for her right hand there, but she's still able to get it to go as Tess Madgen is called for the foul. Top 10 in the league at the moment, Griffin, for points, blocks, 3-point percentage and rebounds. Early advantage for the Caps, but certainly far from panic stations for Guy Malloy and the Melbourne Boomers as that ball is out of bounds off Boomers' feet. Such an important game today for both teams. The winner essentially is in pole position to earn top 2 as we head into the final 3 home and away rounds of this now shortened WNBL season. Carly Ernst on the floor for the first time for the Boomers. Madgen trying to kick it back out, but Griffin and Wilson there to intercept. Sykes v. Allen. Smart in the corner for 3. All night long.
And she's so deadly from that corner 3, Brittany Smart. She has such a high release and such a high shot. Sometimes when you close her out, it just makes her shot even better.
She's going at 42% from beyond the arc this season, which is ranked 4th in the WNBL. And they force another turnover here, the Caps. Sykes for Smart, who's got the hot hand. Can't get that one to go. Mitchell brings down the rebound. 3 turnovers to 1 in favour of the Boomers so far. Madgen for George, for Ernst for 3. Can't get it to go. High energy start between these two sides. Both just struggling a little bit from beyond the arc. Griffin for Smart, trying to free her up again to shoot that jump shot. This time lobbing it up for 2, but can't get that one to go. And the Boomers pounce here at the offensive end. And another miscommunication between Madgen and George and on offense, and that one goes out of bounds as Madgen takes a seat. So you also see Alex Bunton checking in for the first time today for the Caps. Michaela Ruth having a seat at the National Convention Centre. Always terrific atmosphere in Canberra. Crowd always very supportive of their home team. Tapia also on the floor. For Bunton, the 2 bench players combining. Ernst knocked it away, but still Tapia has time to work her way inside and lob it in for 2.
That was just a nice split there from Talia Tapia. She recognised that it was a hard show, split the defence and a nice little floater.
A few better players in the WNBL in that situation. Mid-range 2 off the dribble. Brewster also on the floor for the Boomers. Allen, lovely spin. And then heavily fouled, but well, Griffin didn't think she was fouled, or gave away the foul rather. And Lindsay Allen will be heading to the free throw line, much to Kelsey Griffin's surprise. Timeout will be called though, and that is before Lindsay Allen will head to the charity stripe. Here's a look on replay. Wasn't too straight up in the cylinder, Kelsey Griffin. Referee Jack Taylor right there on the spot to call that.
Just making her case?
I reckon. So timeout called here by the Melbourne Boomers. Paul Goris, dual championship winning coach with the UC Caps as he side up 14-5 early stages of this one. Steph, what are you saying if you're Guy Malloy? Just have had some decent looks, but nothing dropping at the moment.
I think they just need to take a breath and try and get some really good looks. And if they can start getting transition layups from getting in the lanes, pressure in defence, and just doing those hustle plays, it might get them going a little bit, build some momentum, and then the shots that are not dropping now might come a little bit easier.
So they're going at 25% from the field so far. In fact, when you assess it, they've had 11 shots overall, and 7 of them have come from deep. So it's just not dropping for them beyond the arc early stages of this one. And they've turned the ball over 4 times to 1.
And they're the type of team that can live and die a little bit from the three-point line. And when they're shooting well, they are deadly. But when they're not having a great shooting game, they just need to find their scores elsewhere, maybe some inside looks.
Lindsay Allen, an 81% free throw shooter so far this season. Just gone at 30% from the field in their last 3 games. So just a little wayward off her radar in the past 3 games. But she's able to make both free throws on this occasion and reduce the margin to 7 with just over 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Sykes, beautiful pass inside for Bunton. Falling short, well short in the end off that fadeaway. Allen, season opening, tries to get inside Steph and draws the foul. And she'll be heading to the line once again.
And this is a good thing for the Melbourne Boomers, just keeping scoreboard pressure on, getting to the foul line, making sure they're in touching distance by the end of the quarter. So hopefully Lindsay Allen will knock these 2, which I don't want to jinx her, but she's a great foul shooter.
You played a couple of seasons when Lindsay Allen was playing for the Melbourne Boomers. What makes her such a difficult player to match up against?
It's the change of pace, change of direction, because she has great body control inside the key. She can just hesitate and you think she's stopped, and then she's got a quick first step past you again. So very hard to defend.
Well, she's in good form early stages here in this one from the free throw line. 4 of 4, reduces the margin to 5. Sykes, Wilson, Tapia, Drew Brewster in, and then can't hit the mid-range 2. Alicia Froling on the court. And it is off the hands of the Boomers, so they can reset here with 14 seconds on the shot clock. Froling in game number 27 of the WNBL, 11 so far in this 2021-22 season. Sykes, aggressive move inside. Good defense though from Mitchell and Ernst. 3 seconds to shoot for Sykes. That's a tough shot. And in the end, somehow Froling's come up with an offensive rebound despite 3 Boomers being in the vicinity. Bunton for Wilson. Bunton sets the screen. Wilson passes for Tapia for 3.
And that was great hustle from Froling to get 2 offensive boards in a row, and it ended up resulting in a 3. So I think maybe Boomers need to talk about their boxing out, one and done, because that's going to be killing them.
She's in good form from deep at the moment, Talia Tapia. 4 of 5 against Townsville in her last game from three-point land. Allen, mid-range 2, knocks it down, and Lindsay Allen has the past 6 straight points for the Melbourne Boomers. Allen and Madgen with all of the Boomers' points so far as Wilson stops and props but can't knock down the 3. Another offensive rebound for Froling. Tapia feeling it from deep.
And that's just like watching a rerun. The exact same thing happened the last play down, and it's just not what you want if you're Melbourne Boomers.
Bit to think about for Guy Malloy and the Melbourne Boomers coaching staff. Froling with a couple of offensive rebounds as Lindsay Allen gets to work. Doing it all herself at the moment. Nails the 3. And she's now got the last 9 straight points for the Boomers. Sykes, Wilson thought about the 3. We're ticking in the final minute of this one. Sykes now wide open. Falling short, and George comes up with a much-needed stop. Both teams more than happy to put up the shot from beyond the arc in this term. George lost control, but somehow got it to go off the glass. And no shot clock remaining in this first quarter. Bunton. Wilson. Using all her experience and wisdom here. You can see 6 seconds to shoot here. Bunton, a rare triple attempt, falling well short. And the Boomers in the end, almost single-handedly through Lindsay Allen, able to keep themselves in the contest. She's got 9 points, but the Caps still lead this one 20-16 at quarter time.
Strong enough, not fast enough. Wrong. We're crossover queens, scoring buckets, taking names and hitting no-look threes. We fight for every ball. Until we dunk, hell yeah. When we roll into the court with nothing to lose and everything to prove, you're in for a show. She got style, she got balls, she got belief, she got game.
Welcome back to the National Convention Centre in Canberra. In favour of the UC Capitals as we have a look at Australia's National Junior Participation Basketball Program, Aussie Hoops, which introduces kids aged 5 to 10 years old to basketball. They learn and improve their fundamental movement skills as well as the basics of teamwork and cooperation, which will benefit them both on and off the court. And more importantly, they have fun and make friends. So to find out where your kids can start a lifelong enjoyment of basketball, visit the Aussie Hoops locator, which can be found at aussiehoops.basketball. Quarter time, Caps 20 and the Melbourne Boomers 16. Steph Blitzards alongside me for the call. And Steph, it was the Lindsay Allen show late in that quarter, which kept the Boomers in the contest from a scoreboard perspective.
It was, and it was fantastic for us to watch. She's so athletic, so quick, and she just does not want her team to lose today. So she's making sure she's doing everything right, getting those shots up and getting them in.
And it's something that we probably haven't seen a lot from Lindsay Allen. She's such a selfless player on the court where she likes to bring her teammates in the game. But that's another sort of dimension to her game is her offensive scoring. If that can get going, gosh, she's a handful for opposition teams.
And she is, and that's what makes her a really good point guard. She knows what her team needs at the right time. She facilitates and gets the ball to the person with the hot hand, but if she needs to score, she's able to.
Second quarter underway. You just saw Deakin Melbourne on screen as well for the Caps. She's on the court for the first time today. Ernst. And Madgen. Davidson will set the screen for Madgen, who's heavily guarded here by Melbourne, and then Bunton, and another turnover created by the Caps. And this young gun of Australian basketball with determination drives hard inside and draws the foul.
And Jade Melbourne is one of the faster players in the league this season. It's nice to see her just putting the Jets on here. Tessa's feet just not quite set on that one.
Hard to believe she's still just 19 years of age. Sykes for Tapia. She's feeling it. She is seriously feeling it from deep. Talia Tapia.
And why not? If you're shooting the way she is, I'd be putting them up every time.
4 of 5 last game, 2 of 3 this game. Ernst for 3. She's knocking it down. So both teams more than happy to put up the long-range shots so far in this one. And now both clubs also starting to hit a few more. Sykes thought about joining the three-point party. Instead goes for the mid-range 2 and knocks it down. Bit of a shoot-off here at the National Convention Centre.
And that's what we like to see as spectators, don't we?
Oh, yeah. Shocking for coaches, though. Allen, inside she goes. She's got 11 points so far in this game.
It's that sneaky little change of pace again.
Showing off all her tricks in this one. Lindsay Allen. Sykes for Tapia. For Ruth on the inside, who drew some contacts. Now called on the Melbourne Boomers. There's Lindsay Allen at her best with, if you don't mind, Alex Bunton right there as well. Talia Tapia with the look-away pass.
The nice little slip there from Ruth. She just knew where the space was and cut straight to it.
67% free throw shooter, Michaela Ruth. A big game a few weeks ago against the Adelaide Lightning. Really showing off her credentials. 20 points, 9 of 14 shooting, 10 rebounds, of which 6 were offensive as well. So scores 26-21 in favour of the Caps at the moment, and make that 27-21 as Michaela Ruth hits the scoreboard for the first time today. This is Lindsay Allen with the ball. She's got 11 points so far. Talia Tapia has rocketed up to 11 points as well for the UC Caps. Allen hesitates, then draws in the defence. Davidson couldn't quite hit the 2. And then Kelsey Griffin rips it away and hits the deck. Luckily straight to her feet. For a split second, as heart and mouth as she hit the floor. I don't know if she's had her injury troubles over the years in the WNBL.
And they always seem to be contact injuries, don't they?
Yeah. Only to her face as well, somehow. This has a knack of just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. The 27-21 in favour of the Caps. A couple of minutes into this quarter. Sykes! Almost at the top of her vertical leap there, letting it go, but falling short. And drawing some contact to ahead of the free throw line. Glad he's not in the WNBL playing this season, Steph, having to guard Brittany Sykes.
I mean, I would probably leave that to one of the younger, faster players to get that defensive assignment. I was all about the staying outside the three-point line and shooting the threes, thank you.
Stick to your strength. What an import she's been for this competition. 9+ points in every game so far she's played. A picture of consistency.
And we've just really had really high-quality imports come into our league this season, and it's just great to see.
Here's Madgen. Scanlon for Allen. Speaking of high-class imports, Lindsay Allen is at her best in Canberra today. Takes her tally to 14 points. She's got 14 of the Boomers' 24. Tapia. Mid-range 2. Can't get it to go. She's been the go-to player offensively for the Caps so far in this contest.
Maybe just a little bit too close.
Foul called. Tapia will take a seat. Kelly Wilson checks back into the game in game number 407 in the WNBL. And still going strong. Their last game against Townsville, 11 points, 7 dimes. Ruth for 3. Can't get that one a drop. Taylor George brings it down. The Boomers, despite the Capitals' dominance on offense, is still just within 4 points.
And we've seen that a lot from the Boomers this season. They just stay within touching distance, and they're able to just grind out games and get those close wins at the end. So I'm expecting a physical game for the rest of the game.
Madgen misses the shot, and then Wilson misses Melbourne with the pass. And Melbourne will head to the bench for a break. Sitting down next to the Paul Goris and the Canberra Capitals coaching staff, Kenny Karima, Carly Wilson. Carly Wilson has the coaches all dressed in all black today. He's the chief wardrobe assistant coach. Scanlon on the floor here for Madgen. Just good off the hand, but Taylor George with a strong offensive rebound, but can't find a teammate. Michaela Ruth had Griffin down the other end of the floor, but opted to put the brakes on, and the Caps can reset here on offense. Sykes for Smart, and Ruth able to wrong foot her opponent there in Davidson and get the 2.
That was some fantastic ball movement there from the Caps, just to draw the defenders, get that quick kick back and straight into Ruth, who was so strong down in the post.
4 points, 3 boards for Michaela Ruth as the Caps go back up to a 6-point lead. George back breaking down on Smart. Big mismatch. Davidson was not expecting it. She got rid of Ruth, then couldn't hit the easy 2 and couldn't hit the follow-up 2 and then couldn't hold on to the second offensive rebound. Sykes for Griffin, for George. Guarding on George, rather. And then George showing her high basketball IQ to get a hand in there and force it out of bounds. So, say Kayla George is arguably in the form of her life at the moment.
Well, she's looking very fit.
Yep.
So Kayla's been known to be able to shoot those threes and very physical inside. So if she can just keep her body right, I think as she's gotten older, her basketball IQ has just been developing.
Sykes banks it off the glass. Gets back 2 to go. A couple of buckets in a row now for the UC Capitals. You can see just hitting a few more from the field compared to the Boomers. Scanlon for Ernst. Mitchell back on the floor. George receives from Scanlon. Hoping to hand off here for Lindsay Allen, who's putting on a masterclass as the point guard today. Lobbing it inside for George. For Allen for 3, who just ran out of time there. Shot went off just before the shot clock expired. It was a rush shot nonetheless. Griffin goes to work hard inside. Kelsey Griffin with another 3-point play opportunity. Pumps the fists as well. Says, come with me, Caps.
And I hope we can see that close up after this because Kelsey was loving this play. Beautiful move.
That death stare from Kelsey Griffin is one of the best in the league. So great run here for the Caps, just as the Boomers were clawing their way back into the contest, reduce the margin to within 4 points. They've gone on a 6-0 now, still a 6-0 run, which extended it back out to 10. 14 points to 8 so far in this quarter. Ernst, catch and shoot. Long rebound there for Mitchell to give the Boomers a fresh 14 seconds. Allen assessing her options, but running out of time. Inside for George, outside for Ernst. Can't get that 3 to drop, and Mitchell is called for the foul. Alex Bunton in front there, hits the deck and wins the ball back for the Caps.
And it's a testament here for the Canberra defence, apart from the missed box outs, that they're making them shoot contested shots at the end of the shot clock.
So they're in the bonus here, the Boomers, and that means Alex Bunton will be heading to the free throw line. Some big games in recent times, particularly against the Flyers a couple of weeks ago. 21 points and 13 rebounds. It's fantastic to talk to her after the game as well and talk about her love for being back in the WNBL and just a refreshed attitude after giving birth to Opal just over a year ago. And what a pickup she's been for the Caps in particular, Steph. It could be a big reason why the Caps will be in championship contention this season.
Yeah, it says a lot that she's had a new outlook on life and she's just had a chance to reassess what's going on and what's important in her life, and it showed on the court. So she being back in a team environment, being back with the Caps, and such a strong team that the Caps are. It's really great to see that. Because
particularly when she was at the Sydney Uni Flames in her, I think it was her most recent WNBL season, she was the main player there. She was expected to play the centre role. Coming off the bench in a star-studded Capitals outfit, it's just, she doesn't have as much responsibility or burden. Just see that she's playing with a lot more freedom so far in this season. Yeah, and it's nice to not have that responsibility and it just play to your strengths, come in, do what you need to do, and 100% effort on the floor. That's all that anyone can ask of her, and she seems to be doing it. So after trailing by just 4 points, the Caps have gone on the Boomers have given away an 8-0 run. They'll have the inbounds pass here through Carly Ernst. A big handy pickup she's been as well for the Boomers. Gee, that was on display in their last game against the Fire on Friday, where she had 22 points, 6 of 7 from deep. Here's George for Madgen, the handoff. 7 to shoot here for the Boomers. Ball in the hands of Mitchell, who goes to work, and with the left hand gets it to go on the head to the stripe for an extra.
And that's what we've been loving seeing from Mitchell this entire season. She's just so strong on that finish right at the end of the key. Just so powerful and strong.
Almost every caller, no doubt, this season has talked about Tiffany Mitchell's ability from the free throw line. She's gone 88% from the charity stripe this season. She continues excellent shooting from the free throw line. First points for the Boomers to break an 8-0 run during this second quarter. Wilson, Griffin, just so determined, grits the teeth, works her way into the lane and gets another layup to drop. Griffin up to 9 points. She's perfect from inside the arc. 4 of 4 from 2-point range. Ernst hoping for George underneath the rack. It's off Cap's hands though, so the Boomers will have 8 seconds here to launch a shot up. Allen for George. 3. Tough shot, but Kayla G gets it to go.
And she has that quick release on her 3 ball. You don't think she's going to shoot it, and then bang, there it is.
It's a tough player to guard, both close to the ring and from the outside. Smart held onto it, regathered to her feet, and hit the mid-range too. And speaking of revitalised players at the Caps, Britt Smart is certainly one of those.
She is, and she did so well to get up so quickly, get her feet set, and hit that open shot.
Really thriving under Paul Goris. Tough shot there from Tiff Mitchell. And Ernst just didn't quite have enough oomph on the tip out there to get back to Mitchell. So the Caps can have a look here from Britt Smart from the car park. Can't get that one to go. Bunton is called for the foul as Ernst was trying to rebound. 10-point differential between these two sides. Here's a look at Britt Smart. And she's such a fit, athletic player as well. She's on her knees there, but so quick to get back up onto her toes.
She does all the right things. I've seen across her social media doing all the recovery, rest recovery, getting into the gym, and you can see it on the court.
George did well to get inside there, but Bunton with good defense to force him his shot. Wilson for Griffin. Thought about the 3, the bench was up, but she goes inside, and why not? Because that's the play that's been working for Kelsey Griffin today. Ample confidence driving inside. Madgen works her way inside and can't get that one to go. And the momentum of this game has certainly turned in the past 5 minutes. Sykes for Bunton. Ran in to Madgen, but took a step too many with the ball in hand. And travel is called with 1 minute 40 remaining in this second quarter.
And that was just a nice little sneaky pass there to Bunce that just couldn't quite gather it.
Carly Ernst doing the refereeing as well, calling for the travel as Bunton takes a seat. There's that turnover count, 8-3 in favour of the Boomers. The timeout is called. They really have taken good care of the basketball today, the Caps, and defensively it's been tough for the Boomers to move the ball with fluency.
It has been, and they've just been getting those hands in the lanes, making it hard for them to get through their offence. And as you can see in the turnovers, they're making them make passes or shoot shots that they're not quite happy with.
That's led to a big steal count as well for the UC Caps, led by Kelsey Griffin. As Guy Malloy addresses his side, as we mentioned beforehand, a lot to play for today. You win today and it essentially puts you in pole position to get that top 2 advantage, especially the Caps. They're 9-3, and with the win today they go 10-3, and the Boomers would go 9-5 with a loss. It's such an important game from a a ladder perspective, finals perspective.
And you can see the desperation from the players. They're both in it to win it today, and it's not going to be an easy win for either team. We see that there's a 12-point break now, but it doesn't feel like it's an easy one.
Allen, open look there, couldn't get that one to go. And ball is off hands, and it'll be out of bounds as we see Lou Brown for the Boomers check in for the first time today. With 1 minute 32 remaining on the game clock. As you can see, not a lot of spare seats in the house in Canberra today. Wilson, Sykes. Wilson holds on to it despite the pressure from Mitchell from behind. Froling was hoping for Bunton inside, but passing to come off. Mitchell. Offensive foul is called on Tiff Mitchell as Kelly Wilson, so shrewd and wise, takes the hit.
She read that very well. Had her feet set and knew that Tiff was going to go up really strong, just held her ground and took the hit.
Kelsey Griffin said in the lead up to Kelly Wilson's forehand of game that she's definitely the most underrated player I've ever played with. But it's hard to underestimate and underrate Brittany Sykes at the moment. She's putting on a show. She's up to 9 points. Final minute of this first half. And the Caps have really exploded away on the scoreboard. George can't hit the three. Magic can get the offensive rebound though. Allen has Magin on the opposite side of the perimeter. Kayla George is so good on the reverse layup, and that's on display there. Slight differential between game clock and shot clock. Sykes quickly out for Wilson. Now try and use up as much of the shot clock as possible here. Wilson crossing over, driving hard inside, trying to feed Sykes. Froling's going to have to put this up here with 1 second to go. Can't get it. And Lou Brown runs out of time. But that is a big fight back from the UC Capitals. They led only 28-24 at one stage. But they've gone on a big run late in that corner. They went on a 16-8 run. And that means that they lead by 12 points at the major break. Capitals 44 to the Melbourne Boomers 32. So excellent stuff from the UC Capitals. Always such a tough team to take on their home floor. And the Melbourne Boomers, without Izzy Magbegor and Izzy Wright today, are finding out all about that, despite Lindsay Allen being the leading point scorer on the floor with 14 points. Steph, as we have a look at some of the first half highlights, and the Caps, has been a real even spread of contributions so far in this game.
Yeah, there has been, and that's the most dangerous thing I think about the Caps, is that if you lock down one player, they have 5 more that can step up. So it's been obvious today that that's been what's happening, and that's why they're up at the major break.
So what do you want to see, particularly from the Melbourne Boomers, to try and get themselves back in the game in the second half?
I think they just need to talk about maybe getting through their offense. They're getting a little bit rattled when the Caps are putting a little bit of defensive pressure on, and they're a smart team. So if they're able to get some solid inside looks, they have Ernst and George that they can play off in a high-low situation. If they're able to drag out a big to Carly Ernst 3 and then look inside to Kayla George, I think that'll get them in good stead, and they can get some easy layups.
Beautiful move there from Brittany Sykes to close us off as we have a look at the match stats so far in this game. Some beautiful connection from the Caps, and that's personified by the fact that they've got 11 assists to 5, and also the Boomers have 9 turnovers to 4 as well. That's led to the Capitals having a 6-2 lead in the steal count. Not too much differential though between the two sides off the glass in particular. And the Boomers still have 10 minutes of basketball to try and work themselves back into the game. As we go into a short break here on KO Sports, and it is fantastic in the WNBL to be celebrating Indigenous round over the next 3 rounds in particular. And the UC Capitals really through Abby Cabillo in particular, championing the Indigenous round. And let's have a look at what today's Indigenous uniform means specifically to the UC Caps.
I've been pro overseas for about 5 or 6 years now. This is the first time I've been in a place, in a space where I'm learning about a culture, and I'm really diving into what it is, to learn about Indigenous culture.
Indigenous culture and Torres Strait Islander culture and Aboriginal culture in Australia is a part of being Australian. So I think it's something that shouldn't be tokenistic or just be for one round. I think it's something that should be an ongoing part of who we are as Capitals, and something that we get to learn about and educate others about and continue to grow and develop in our own education around it, so that we can be better ambassadors for what it means to be a university, a Canberra Capital, but also what it means to be an Australian. And so it's something that I feel I wear with pride, but I also wear with a lot of responsibility, because I know the amount of people that it could be impacting by me wearing the singlet.
Women with Drive.
I don't know where to start without getting emotional. It was, I don't know why I'm getting emotional.
We were a blubbering mess, the two of us.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm getting emotional.
We did it for the Timsies and
Jan Collins.
All the faces.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional, but it was huge. It was something that hadn't been done. And it was so special to so many people. And please cut this because I'm very embarrassed. I'm even tearing up. But that's how special it was. You know, we battled hard to raise the funds. Our president was outstanding. Our vice president, you know, Grant Waldron, Kim White, they made sure that we had, you know, they did their best for us to make sure we could get on the court. And Robin and I ran around trying to get sponsors, and she did the admin and the organisation, and I was trying to get sponsorship dollars, begging to everyone. So it was just a huge thing, and then to be able to understand the struggle and feel the struggle for a couple of years and want something so bad and it not turn out the first year, and then finally being able to get it all come together, and all the hard work that everyone had put in, and the volunteers and the hours of meetings that, you know, good people would, you know, Kerry Lees and Robin Menarkis and our board, our little group of volunteers put together all that work and all the history of the club that had never seen a championship, and, you know, from back in the day with Jan Collinson, you know, being part of it as well. There was just a tremendous amount of pride and emotion attached to the win, because it just wasn't about, you know, the win represented so much more than just a WNBL title.
That was the moment I think the noise came back for me once the siren went, and then to look up and it was just face after face of people who had paved the path or done the really hard yards to keep the club alive.
Yeah.
And our thanks to the Melbourne Boomers for providing a snippet of that long-form interview with Michelle Timms, who's one of the most passionate people in the game, Sharon Milner and Tom Maher. Timms was the assistant coach during that championship in 2011. Tom Maher the coach, and Sharon Milner was the co-captain, and ultimately grand final MVP. That was the first ever Boomers championship, first and only championship for the Boomers so far, the Bulleen Boomers they were known as back then. And it's a special occasion next Sunday as well, as they celebrate and recognise that achievement 11 years ago. They'll be taking on the Bendigo Spirit next Sunday at 3 p.m. at the same venue where they won that championship against the Capitals those years ago, the Melbourne Sports Centre in Parkville. Steph Blitzarves, you weren't quite in the league then, but I'm sure you would have been across that achievement from the Boomers, which meant so much to this proud club.
Yeah, I remember I was watching the game and it was just amazing to watch because the crowd, absolutely phenomenal. And it was, we didn't make finals we didn't make the grand final that year. We were really happy to make the final the next year and come up against the Boomers. So just seeing the emotions attached to it, it brings everything back, and everyone around a basketball club, you know how important it is from the outside looking in, but if you're in the inner sanctum and being part of that ground out win, you can see the emotion on Timsy's face. It just means so much to everyone involved.
And I've watched the full 10-minute video of Michelle Timms, Sharon Milner and Tom Maher speaking. Tom Maher in particular speaks about how as a coach you're so aware of the people around the club and the people that put in so much but don't necessarily get a lot back from just being out there and from a wins perspective. They're not a player, experiencing the win. So to see the joy on the faces of so many volunteers and staff members at that point was such a an uplifting moment for the Boomers. And they're a club that, you know, after that championship, they were, you know, at close to rock bottom as well. But then, you know, Justin Nelson and Tony Hallam got on board and reinvigorated the club alongside Guy Malloy, who's in his final season as coach. And if Guy's able to win a championship this year, it'd be the perfect cherry on top before he heads off to New Zealand.
I can only imagine the expectations and pressure that's been building for so many years in finals contention. So we'll see if the girls can do it for him this season.
They've got a bit of work to do here against the Caps. They're down by 12. They trailed by as little as 4 during that second quarter, but they really got going, the Caps. Madgen, though, gives the Boomers the perfect start, reduces the margin into single figures. So Madgen got the first 5 points of the game for the Boomers. She hits her first since midway through the first quarter, her first field goal, that is. She's up to 8 points. Here's Sykes, who was electric in that first half. Falling well short, but smart. It's another offensive rebound. Allen comes up with the steal. The fast hands of Lindsay Allen coming up, forcing an important turnover. Great to have you with us on Karo Sports for this top 4 clash between the Caps and the Boomers. Madgen, Davidson, Allen. With 6 to shoot. There's that quick release from Kayla George. Doesn't quite come off on this occasion, and just out of reach of Davidson's hands as the Caps will bring the ball back inbounds. Kelsey Griffin with an excellent first half. She had 11 points, 5 of 5 shooting, to go with 2 steals and 2 rebounds. A player in significant foul trouble at the moment. Just 2 fouls each for Madgen, Davidson and Mitchell, and 2 for Griffin for the Caps. Slight delay in play after all players hit the deck. We're good to go now with the Caps holding a 9-point advantage on their home floor. Terrific home crowd advantage that they have, home court advantage. The backing of a vociferous home crowd. Roof hoping for the pick and roll. Wilson instead finds Griffin, who's hitting everything today. She can't miss KG23. She's got 13. Inside the arc, she's 6 of 6 today. Davidson for George. Davidson stepping up today. No Ezzy Magbegor being managed with that injury that saw him miss the Opals campaign. Tiff Mitchell, though, stepping up here. Just her second field goal of the game. She's got 6 points. Wilson for Sykes. Pick and roll here with Roof, who got rid of Davidson and then went underneath the bucket and couldn't get it to go. Davidson able to follow up and provide a tough shot, or force a tough shot rather. Here's Allen, 14 points, 4 assists to her name so far. Davidson kicks it out for Madgen, falling well short on that triple attempt. Both teams more than happy to put up the free ball today. As Smart, the pass a bit too hot there for Kelsey Griffin, their fumble.
And we've just seen the Melbourne Boomers pick up their defence a little bit. They've put a little bit more pressure on it, being just that little bit more physical, and it's been working for them so far.
Here's Allen for Kayla George. Allen guarded by Smart with 9 seconds to shoot here. Madgen provides an option. It's the screen from George. Good defense, though, from Roof and Wilson. George forced into a quick release. And again, the Caps forcing the Boomers, Steph, into a late rush shot in the shot clock time frame.
Yeah, and they've been doing that all game. It's been fantastic to see their pressure in defence.
Oh, my goodness.
Unrelenting. And then we see Kelsey come down the other end. Too strong.
It's about the 3rd or 4th time today that Griffin has just gritted her teeth, worked her way right to the rack and got it to go off the glass. Game high 15 points for Kelsey Griffin. Mitchell driving baseline and getting it to go off the glass. So a couple of early buckets for Tiff Mitchell. She's up to 8 points. Boomers just hanging around, yes. Wilson gets around Mitchell. And then inside for Smart. Reverse didn't go, but Roof's there for the offensive rebound to give Canberra another look. And why wouldn't you give it to Kelsey Griffin, who is in the form of her life at the moment?
It's just great to see that she's been working so hard, and we see her put in the effort every single week, and today's her day.
18 points for Kelsey Griffin, 3 rebounds, a couple of steals. Such a versatile player at 188 centimetres as well. Allen for Magin in the corner, gets it to go. Boomers just, again, able to reduce the margin to under 10. Now to get a couple of stops in a row. One of the best defensive teams in the league, the Melbourne Boomers. The foul is called on Melbourne. Is that a technical foul that's been called?
I think it might have been.
Yes.
Refs weren't happy what Melbourne had to say.
Referee Jack Taylor with the tee.
Now, was that on Tiff Mitchell or was that on the bench?
Mitchell certainly arguing, or was having a word with Coach Guy Malloy. In the meantime, Britt Smart will head to the free throw line. And it's an extra point. Mitchell has gone to 3 fouls, so that will be on Tiff Mitchell, looks like, Steph.
I mean, just see the passion that everyone's playing with today, getting a little bit heated.
Roof for Sykes. Mid-range too. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
Just beautiful controlled jump shot.
Yeah. Once again, into double figures, Britt Sykes. Imagine, though, lifting her output in this third quarter. She draws the contact and will be heading to the free throw line. Mentioned Brittany Sykes, 11 points, a couple of rebounds and a couple of assists for her. Use that jump shot. Good to see as well Tess Madgen driving hard inside. A really good shooter from the outside, but this is accomplished when she works her way into the lane.
She did well to get Brittany Sykes up in the air and just draw that foul. Gives herself a little break and then hopefully knock down this second foul shot.
As part of the All-WNBL second team in 2020, Tess Madgen. Obviously part of the Opals campaign recently in Serbia. To pay her back on the floor. What a first half she played. Serious microwave stuff, 11 points off the bench. Foul called on the Caps, offensive foul. Kelsey Griffin may have been in the wrong there, so she's up to 3 personal fouls now. AJ 23. Allen, Madgen, Davidson, Mitchell. Allen deep in the court here. Gets a screen from George. Kicks it out for Madgen, who had a foot in the line there. Just missed the long range two. Griffin coming up with the rebounds. Just under 5 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Good to have you with us on KO Sports as Brittany Sykes knocks down a bonkers turnaround, Jay.
And there is not much more Tess could have done on that shot. She did all the right things, contested the shot, got into her space, and Sykes just was able to elevate above and knock that shot down.
Yeah, that is, you're right, impossible to defend. And then Griffin comes up with her own mid-range too. They are hot, the Caps. They're going at 61%, 62% now shooting. Just like that, a couple of daggers have seen the Caps take a 14-point lead over the Boomers. Every time the Boomers challenge, the Caps come up with an answer. Davidson with the mid-range two knocks it down all night long. It's her first points of the game. 6 rebounds though for Davidson, including 4 off the offensive glass.
That was good pressure defence there from Melbourne Boomers.
Yeah. Madgen and George.
But great recognition there from the Caps just to set that back screen in to get that open 3.
And Britt Smart hits her second triple, continuing her excellent three-point shooting form this season. Just have the answer every time at the moment, the Caps. You're seeing a team that's just on another level, potentially, to the Boomers. Allen, though, is playing at a really high elite level today. She's got 16. To go with 6 assists. Sykes, Ruth, Smart, travels. 13-point differential between these two sides. If the Boomers aren't careful, this lead could easily balloon well beyond 13. That is so good from Brittany Sykes.
And we just see the great recognition there. Good screen there from Talia Tapea to get Britt Smart open, and she nails that 3.
4 players of the Caps into double figures in terms of point scoring. Smart, Tapea, Sykes and Griffin. Ernst hands off for Madgen. 8 to shoot here. Lindsay Allen drives hard inside. Got some contact, and she might be heading to the free throw line and shoot a couple. That caught on Michaela Ruth.
And Allen does well just to get her shoulder in and just get her body under the feet of the bigs, where they have no option other than move out the way or foul her on that layup.
8th time this season that Lindsay Allen has gone past 10 points in a game. Her 3rd season with the Melbourne Boomers. Burst onto the scene in 2018-19, where she was a top 3 in the MVP, part of the All-Star 5. She's putting up an All-Star performance today. Melbourne back on the floor here for the Caps. And she's wide open for 3. The Boomers get away with one there. Normally a strong shooter from deep, Jade Melbourne. Madgen trying to loop it over to George, but Caps read that well off hands. Boomers have done well in this quarter, though. They have taken a bit more care of the basketball and forced a few more turnovers from the Caps themselves. Oh, beautiful pass from Sykes to Ruth, as Melbourne cops some contact from Madgen.
Just a little bit of miscommunication from Melbourne Boomers just on that defensive set.
Both George and Mitchell going to the player there. Mitchell not too happy with the call. She's now got 3 personal fouls to her name, and Mitchell's also got 3 fouls. Griffin lost control, and that is deemed off Caps' feet. Griffin can't believe it.
The crowd don't like it either, as we can hear in the background.
Can be an intimidating place, not only to play in Canberra, but also to referee in Canberra. Great to have our referees out of the WNBL as they call a foul on Jade Melbourne on this occasion, as Mitchell was trying to work her way inside. 6-year WNBA veteran Tiffany Mitchell with Indiana, and in particular a regular starter in the last couple of WNBA seasons, averaging 12.5 points per game. So speaking earlier, Steph, about high quality imports, and they don't come much more high quality and more highly credentialed than Tiffany Mitchell. And can't get the second free throw to go. A rare missed free throw from Mitchell. What it does, though, it allows a 3-point play. Kayla George hits the turnaround 2.
Maybe they planned it that way.
Maybe they did. Guy with the way doing some sneaky work at training in Parkfield during the week. Oh, Tapea's been really good from deep today. They get away with one, the Melbourne Boomers defence, and they're back within 8 points. And have a look at the offensive end of the floor here. Cool heads needed here for the Boomers, and they've got probably their most experienced lineup out in the floor at the moment, including Carly Ernst. George inside for Ernst. Turnaround on Kelsey Griffin, gets it to drop, and it's back to 6 points.
And that's a great look there for the Melbourne Boomers, because Carly has that height advantage inside. Just those long limbs, able to just do that little turnaround hooky. And if they can keep that up, this game can quickly go the other way.
And Kayla George forces Ruth into a tough turnaround, and another stop for the Boomers. And now Mitchell goes to work. Her own tough shot, well off target in the end. Rush of blood from Tiff Mitchell, and the Caps now have a 6 or 7 differential between game clock and shot clock to work with. Sykes raising up, knocking it down. Bit of a blow for the Boomers after generating some momentum late in this quarter. Sykes comes up big. Madgen, though, works her way inside. Can't get that one to drop. Griffin's going to have a prayer and can't get it answered. But the Boomers are within striking distance. At three-quarter time, it is the Caps 63, leading the Boomers 55 in this top 4 clash in the nation's capital. FIBA's flagship competition, the FIBA Women's World Cup, is heading to Australia in September. 10 action-packed days, 12 teams, 144 of the world's best players and 38 games. That will, of course, involve our own Aussie Opals. So to get first access to tickets, sign up at Women's World Cup.basketball for access to the FIBA Women's World Cup. And also great to have the support of Sporting as well, whether you want to be like Ezzy Magnegor or just be your best. Sporting believe everyone should have the opportunity to play basketball. So go grab yourself a ball and get started today at sporting.com.au. Sporting being the official ball partner of the WNBL. And we are seeing 2 top WNBL teams going at it here in the nation's capital. It is 63-55 in favour of the UC Caps. Ben Waterworth with you alongside Steph Blitzarves, and the Boomers just hanging in there, aren't they, Steph?
They are, and this is what they do. They've been doing it all season. They just stay within touching distance, and then they've been able to run over other teams in the late stages of the game, but I think it's going to be a difficult one today.
They scored 23 points to 19 in that third quarter, the Boomers, as Jade Melbourne explodes out of the three-quarter time break with a terrific field goal. Gets that margin back out to double digits. Second spot, well, really, he's up for grabs today. Certainly pole position to get a top 2 finish is up for grabs in Canberra today. Tough defence from the Caps as Ernst went for a prayer, essentially, as the shot clock expired. And the Caps get an early stop. And Sykes, who's been deadly from that range today, can't get the mid-range 2 to drop. Mitchell, beautiful crossover, then gets around Griffin, works her way inside. And a foul call. Griffin comes up with a rebound. Sykes' turn to go for work. Offensive foul, might be against Bunton, is called. Boomers get the ball back. And he's against Alex Bunton. Lindsay Allen hit the floor.
I think that was a bit of a veteran move there. Got herself in the way, knew she was going to be outsized and took the hit.
Allen with a team high 18 points for the Boomers. Game high 20 points for Kelsey Griffin to go with 7 rebounds. Here is Allen, guarded by Melbourne. Tough defense again from Melbourne, who's up the ante at the defensive end of the floor for the Caps. Ernst has Madgen. Perhaps a little mismatch here against Kelly Wilson, but Wilson with great defense. And Madgen misses. Melbourne running the point here for the Caps. Griffin setting the screen for Sykes to go to work. Hard to stop that. She just misses the attempt though. George for Mitchell for Ernst. Back inside for Allen on Melbourne. And Allen gets the 2 to go, pumps her fist. A rare show of on-court emotion from Lindsay Allen. She's heading the line to make it a 3-point play.
And that was a great read there from Lindsay Allen. She saw the key was open. She saw that Jade Melbourne just lost vision of her, was able to cut straight through and get that finish.
Good patient ball movement as well from the Boomers. And Allen with a non-preferred left gets it to go. And reduces the margin to 7 with 8 minutes left. Don't go anywhere. Thrilling finish coming up on Kayo Sports. 2 championship contenders going head-to-head in round 12. Bunton lost control. Melbourne regains it. 10 to shoot. Melbourne, tough. Driving hard inside, drawing the contact to earn 2 free throw opportunities.
We saw a nice little close-up of Jade Melbourne's shoes there.
Yes. The foul may have been called on Lindsay Allen. Jade Melbourne, no fuss approach at the free throw line. An 81% free throw shooter. Really has sort of been fighting for minutes in recent times with Britt Smart and Tali Tapea being such great form. She's able to hit the court here and get a free throw to drop.
And that's a great problem to have if you're a coach. Being able to just pick players off your bench and then be able to fit straight in.
Allen for George for 3. Can Kayla G come alive from deep? She can. Huge 3 ball. Back to 5 points. And now the Caps with a bit to think about on their home floor. Sykes, Wilson, screen from Bunton. Good defense though from George and Madgen. Griffin works her way inside. Straight up went Madgen. And Griffin though drew the contact and will head to the line. Boomers not too happy with the call though.
And we'll just get a nice replay of that here.
It's Madgen who's called for the foul. It's her 4th personal foul. 7 minutes remaining. Madgen's going to stay out on the floor. In the meantime, Kelsey Griffin will head to the line. A 73% free throw shooter this season. And even the pressure gets to the best. Misses both. Huge let off for the Boomers. Can they capitalise at the other end of the floor? Mitchell heavily guarded, but works her way inside and almost uncontested, gets the layup to drop, and we've got a 3-point ball game.
We have a real game on our hands now. The pressure's on.
Exciting conclusion to round 12 in the WNBL. Sykes for Ruth, allowed to work her way inside. A hand in there for a rejection. Caps still alive, have to put the point up now. Sykes well off target. Boomers now a possession within tying up the scores.
And that was a massive defensive stop right there for the Melbourne Boomers.
George levels up the scores. Kayla G for 3. Timeout called, and the Caps' backs are right up against the wall now.
That timeout is severely needed for the Caps right now because all the momentum is going with the Melbourne Boomers.
George with a couple of big plays in this fourth quarter, coming up big. The handshake with Lindsay Allen. And this experienced star-studded Boomers lineup coming up with a big play there. They've scored 11 points to 3 so far in this fourth quarter. In fact, they've gone 34 points to 21 since half-time. And that's the reason we've got tied scores. And now that the script has been flipped at Paul Goris has got a bit to think about, Steph.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we knew they weren't going to go away. They never go away, and they always keep themselves right in it. And this timeout was really needed for the Caps because they haven't had the last couple of offensive plays, they haven't had a lot of good shots. They've been at the end of shot clocks. They've missed a couple of layups that they should have made, maybe a couple of foul shots that should have gone down, and now we're at tied ball game.
Terrific fight back from Guy Malloy's side. They've now got 4 players in double-figure points. It's George and Mitchell who have lifted their respective outputs. George now up to 15 points and 12 rebounds. Another double-double for Kayla George. That is her 7th of this WNBL season and the 9th time she's had 10-plus points. What have the Caps got? Smart and Wilson back out on the floor. Ruth from the stripe. That one doesn't go. That's off Wilson's hands. Mitchell says, I thought that was off Cap's hands, but the referee thinks otherwise.
And we just see Tiff Mitchell off to the races here, and she's so quick. Thought she had a dunk down the other end.
Good crowd in attendance at the National Convention Centre. This top 4 clash. Wilson, Smart, Ruth, Smart from well deep. Britt Smart with a dagger.
What an absolute shooting display we have seen today.
3 of 7, Britt Smart from deep. One of the best three-point shooters in the league this season. Gives the Caps back the lead. Allen goes to work. And Ernst almost wasn't expecting it. Miscommunication, a stop for the Caps. 10 turnovers apiece. Wilson for Smart. Sykes now, and Wilson reassessed with 10 seconds to shoot for the UC Capitals. Wilson wants a cut inside. Has to go out for Griffin, who's been the player of the game so far, but can't get that one to go.
And another tough shot there for the Caps. The pressure has really ramped up in defence.
George guarded by Ruth. Now Allen can go to work with Britt Smart on a hammer. George open for 3, then inside for Ernst, who just got it over the hand of Sykes, but it fell short. Didn't quite see Madgen in the corner. Good defence from the Caps. And an offensive foul is called on Griffin.
And we can hear the crowd really getting behind the Canberra team here.
Let's have a look on replay. Griffin setting the screen there on Madgen. And that is Kelsey Griffin's 4th personal foul. She comes to the bench. With 4 minutes and 42 seconds remaining, and there's a big reason why she's come to the bench, because the timeout is called, and this is where the coaches, Steph, really earn their cash.
They do, and especially it's such a high-pressure situation now because both teams are really ramping up their defence. They're getting in their lanes. They're making it really hard for the other team to score. So if they can really get through their offence, set good hard screens with their feet set, make sure that it's a one shot and done, boxing out and crashing the boards, whoever can execute the best here, I think will get the win.
Steph, who do you think will execute best from here?
Well, you can't argue that the momentum is really with Melbourne at the minute, isn't it? They've been hitting their shots. They've been getting really great defensive stops. They've been making sure they're finding the open player, but anything can happen in this last little bit.
So experienced WNBL coaches address their respective sides. Paul Goris of the Caps and Guy Malloy of the Melbourne Boomers. Malloy's 9th straight season with the Boomers. And he did start with the Caps all the way back in 1989. Been in the caper for a long time, Guy Malloy. Hoping for a championship in his final year, and his side is playing terrific basketball in this second half. 34 points to 25 since half-time. George open for three, thought about it. Then went inside for Mitchell with a terrific pass. The cut inside from Mitchell, she hits the deck, and she's a little slow to get up. It's 5-on-4 at this end of the floor. Griffin. Sykes. Griffin is open for three. The mismatch. Well, in the end, the Caps can't make the most of it. Big sigh of relief. Exhaled by Melbourne. Mitchell just limping a little bit. You can see at the foreground of your screen. Gets it now from George. And then got some contact from Kelly Wilson as she tried to drive her way inside. Here's a look at Mitchell hitting the deck. And was down for almost for a good 10 seconds, and that allowed the Caps to have a good look on offense, and thankfully for Boomers supporters, they couldn't get it to go.
And they were very lucky with the way that Kelsey's been shooting and playing today, that didn't go down.
Allen. Not long to shoot now for Lindsay Allen, who drives baseline. Reverse! Oh my goodness! How did she do that?
It looked like she was going straight out through the middle of the key, and then that sneaky little reversey.
Lindsay Allen up to 23 points.
Beautiful to watch.
Few better sights in the WNBL than Lindsay Allen in full flight. 1 point ball game. Griffin guarded by Ernst. Crossing over. Ruth denied by George. And she wins the ball back cleanly. Boomers now with an opportunity to take the lead back in this game. And the ball's in terrific hands.
And Lindsay Allen just waves away the screen. See, she has the mismatch here.
Goes to work on Ruth. Steps inside. Gets it to go. What a star of the league we're watching on KO Sports today.
She is just beautiful to watch. Just calm, knows exactly what she needs to do. She saw she had the mismatch, waved away the screen that was coming, got Michaela Ruth up in the air, stepped through, easy finish. I say easy finish, maybe for her.
Left hand, right hand, conventional, reverse. She's doing it all in the nation's capital today. And this terrific home record of the Caps. They've lost just the one game on their home floor so far this season. That is under threat seriously now by Lindsay Allen and the Melbourne Boomers, who take a 70-69 lead. What are you saying if you're Paul Goris of the UC Capitals right now, Steph Blitzarves?
I think they really need to lock down in their defence. They know that Lindsay Allen is having a really good game. They just need to make sure that they're staying down, staying in front of her. When she's in the key, if you're a bigger body, you don't need to jump at that. You just need to make the shot a little bit more difficult without fouling. So if they can keep their defensive pressure up and get through some good offense, where they're creating movement and making the Boomers have to play 20 seconds of defense, and then on the next rotation they might get an open shot.
So Lindsay Allen's best score so far this season was 22 points. She's usurped that today. She's currently on 25. In her last 3 games, she'll be going at 30% from the field. She's going way better than that today. Sykes lost control. It's off Boomer's hands. It was a clean hit out of Sykes' hands, though. So, inbounds pass here. That was Carly Ernst, nice and clean.
And Carly has had maybe 3 or 4 of those today, just the sneaky little tap-outs without getting any of her opponent.
So they're preferring Ernst over Davidson in the stretch here. The Melbourne Boomers have got their best players out on the floor. Remember, no Ezzy Magbegel today for the Boomers. No Izzy Wright either off the bench. Smart. Inside for Wilson. Ernst Witten's it back. Jump ball is called. We'll just wait to see where the possession arrow is going. There's Ernst this time. The long limbs able to get involved. This time wins it cleanly back because it is possession arrow with the Melbourne Boomers. And they lead for the first time today. Ernst for Madgen. Smart really locking down hard on defence on Lindsay Allen. Ernst is free for three. Can't get it to go. And the crowd lifts at the National Convention Centre. Sykes. Griffin just momentarily lost their footing. Kicks it back out to Griffin, does Sykes. Inside for Roof. Beautiful pass from Griffin. Roof gets the offensive rebound. Can't get it to go. A fresh 14 for the Caps. Smart can't hit the three. George with a huge defensive rebound.
And that was a real get-out-of-jail free card there for the Melbourne Boomers.
Allen inside again with the left. She can do no wrong. 27 points and 8 assists for Lindsay Allen in a point guard masterclass. She does the defense on Britt Smart, who gets around Allen though and hits the two. Do not go anywhere. 97 seconds of thrilling hoops coming your way. Two of the best teams in the league going head-to-head, giving us an almost mini-finals preview. Ernst didn't hand off for Madgen. Smart forces the turnover. Roof wins it back. Wilson, open look for three. Falling short, the shot was there. Wilson, not a noted three-point shooter. The Boomers get away with one. Allen guarded by Wilson as we tick into the final minute. 6 seconds to shoot. George is all by herself. What a find from Allen. That's assist number 9. And 17 points now for Kayla George. A timeout is called. The Boomers lead by 3.
Look at this beautiful recognition there from Kayla to see that Kelsey just lost vision for a second and just that sweet back up. And Lindsay Allen wasn't going to miss that.
This is terrific from the Boomers. They are such a hard team to beat the Caps on their home floor, but they have totally flipped the momentum of this game since half-time. 40 points, in fact 42 points to 27 since half-time. It's been totally on the back of their starting 5 today, Steph.
It has been, and you can just see the grit and the determination coming into this final quarter. They were up and in the lanes, pressure, making sure they're running, and it's really paid off for them because the momentum is completely with them.
So Britt Smart, 42% three-point shooter. Britt Sykes, a 33% three-point shooter. 38% Kelly Wilson. 43% Griffin. So if there's going to be a three-point shot, I think it's going the way of Smart or Griffin. Particularly maybe Britt Smart, who's 3 of 8 so far from deep today. Still 43.9 seconds, Steph, is a long time in basketball.
It is a very, very long time.
All the pressure now with the Caps. They've got the work to do. Sykes for Smart, but she's got no room to move. Lindsay Allen right there. So too Griffin. But Smart from deep. Can't get it to go. And Kayla George comes up with a rebound. And a foul is called. It's an unsportsmanlike foul called. Kelsey Griffin has been called for the foul, and I think that's her 5th. She's out of the game. Just a jumper tug there. Referee Jack Taylor Rock on the scene as well. Griffin takes a seat after a monumental first 3 quarters. 20 points and 8 rebs for her. Tapia checks into the game. And Lindsay Allen, though, will head to the charity stripe. The shooter couple, 81% free throw shooter. And more importantly, she's 8 of 8 from the line today. Make it 9 of 9. And now all the pressure is on the Caps, and they've got a lot of work to do to make up 5 points in 29 seconds. Mitchell's one of the best free throw shooters in the business. And she's got the ball now and taking full control. Works her way inside, denied emphatically by Sykes. But a travel is called. Tapea was off to the races, and the referee noticed a step too many from Tapea. And that means there's a fresh 14 seconds for the Boomers and almost a 4-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Madgen regains control, and the ball in the hands of the experienced Kayla George. Foul called on Roof. And the Melbourne Boomers, as Lindsay Allen pumps her fists. Guy Malloy's out of his seat. And they're now in the box seat, the Boomers.
What a final quarter this has been for the Melbourne Boomers.
21 points to 8 in this fourth quarter so far, and Kayla George can extend that lead. An 83% free throw shooter this season. A mighty turnaround this has been from the Boomers. Sykes picks up the tempo, hits the three, and a foul is called, is it? Sykes hit the three. Oh, and we've got to play it down.
That doesn't look like a very good foul that's just happened there. Oh, she's to her feet. Well done, Roof.
Roof is to her feet.
So tough.
Let's have a look. Sykes hit the three, but there's George, who just got the forearm out there. And Roof that subsequently crashed into Smart. And the Caps get the ball back.
They've hit a three and they've gotten the ball back.
Yes. Has to be a quick catch and shoot here. Roof for two, knocks it down. Have we got another twist in this extraordinary Sunday afternoon story?
You wouldn't read about it.
This game is bonkers.
For all those people that turned the game off because they thought that Melbourne had it, they'll be kicking themselves.
We've got a 2-point ball game with 6 seconds left on the clock. The Boomers will have the ball, so they are still in position A, undoubtedly. Here's a look at Sykes. Beautiful three-point shot.
Beautiful. You just see Kayla lift her armbar a little bit and send Roof down to the ground, and then she responds by hitting that little jumper.
Remember, the Caps at one stage in this game led by as much as 15 points. But the Boomers, through in particular Lindsay Allen, and special mention for Kayla George, who's worked their way up to a monster game, 19 points and 16 rebounds for Kayla George. Have turned a 15-point differential into a 2-point lead. So the Boomers' best free throw shooters, Lindsay Allen 81%, but Kayla George 83%, but the sense this ball is going to Tiff Mitchell, who's an 88% free throw shooter. Or do you go to Lindsay Allen, who hasn't missed so far today?
I think you're in a great position where you can get it to either.
Wilson knocks it out of bounds, no time lost off the clock.
And with everyone on the court right now, it doesn't really matter who you get it to, because if you get fouled, you've got some fantastic free throw shooters. See the
foul count there in the top right-hand corner of your screen on that scoreboard. Referee makes Madgen wait. They want to get it to Allen or George. George got rid of her opponent in Roof. No foul is called. Sykes wins the ball back. Can she hit the two? They run out of time. Incredible heart-stopping finish at the nation's capital, and the Melbourne Boomers escape with a miraculous 2-point victory. They were down by 15, they win by 2, and thanks to the razzle-dazzle of LA, Lindsay Allen The Boomers keep their top 2 hopes alive and go to 10-4 in this WNBL season. What a game of hoops, Steph Blitzarves.
What a sweat-inducing final quarter. My palms are sweaty. It had everything you could have wanted in a final quarter. It was so close, and it was absolutely fantastic to watch the battle between the two teams. There was no love lost at the end of that game.
So we saw a thrilling conclusion there where Kayla George got the ball, Michaela Roof hit the floor, and no foul was called. And in the end, the Boomers able to escape with a terrific win. No Ezzy, no worries, without Ezzy Magbeg due to injury once again, but they've come up with a seriously gritty, inspired 78-76 victory. And it'll be a happy flight back down to Melbourne tonight, you'd sense, Steph. And
especially because it was a win in Canberra.
Yep.
And it's so difficult to win in Canberra with the Canberra crowd.
Here's the final play, sorry, Steph. So you have a look at George. Is that a foul on Kayla George?
The ref was standing right there, so if they're not going to call it.
And then also Lindsay Allen as well. Just a slight tap there on Brittany Sykes to ensure that wasn't a smooth transition up the floor. And the Boomers escaped with a victory. Just a quick word on Lindsay Allen's game in particular, because when her team was down, particularly in that second quarter, she kept the scoring flowing and was able to keep her team in the game, and then went to another level in that second half.
She really was, and she's the type of point guard that just understands what her team needs at what point. So if her team doesn't need her to score, she can facilitate and really get through the plays and get it to the hot hand, whereas today they needed her to score, and so she obliged.
She certainly did. She came up with 29 points and 9 assists in a terrific game. She was perfect from the free throw line as well. And so often, Laurie Chiswick, who's part of our WNBL broadcast as well, talks about free throws often being the difference between sides and games. And when Lindsay Allen went at 100% from the charity stripe today, it could be a big difference. This puts it all in perspective as well after the game, despite a heartbreaking loss. Some family time on the court as well. As we have a look at some of the game highlights, and we certainly weren't short of any highlights around this game, Steph. It was certainly in that second half a topsy-turvy game.
It was, and we can just see the defensive pressure there, but the great movement and recognition. So we just see Britt Smart hitting a major three right there.
Lindsay Allen, whether it was left hand, right hand, reverse, conventional, whatever way it went, she was able to step up, and as was Kayla George as well. And that's we've seen so many times the WNBL, when a team needs her to lift, Kayla George, whether it's been for the Townsville Fire in recent times, the Melbourne Boomers as well, she just comes up with an important play at the right time of the game.
She does, and she loves a clutch three.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, if you need someone to hit a three, a lot of the time it'll be Kayla if it's for the Melbourne Boomers.
There was Allen. Not sure if that was a smile or grit and determination as well, as she hit that layup as well. So as a result, the Melbourne Boomers now go to 10-4 in the WNBL ladder, and it really does put them in an excellent position to try and earn that top 2 advantage, which, as we know, Steph, in finals is just so important.
It really is. You want to be in the top 2 coming into finals, and especially winning games like this, winning momentum-building games where you got your tail up, you get everything behind you, and you know you have the belief that you can win. So
looking at the ladder now, I'm just looking at a live ladder in front of me. The Lynx consequently go to first in the ladder, 7-2. The Lightning are now second, 8-3. The Boomers move up to third, 10-4. And the Caps, with that loss, 9-4. They drop back to fourth in the WNBL ladder. So that just goes to show what one result can do in this race for the top 4 now, and it's just going to be a thrilling conclusion to this WNBL season. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, and it is whoever can stay healthy and keep their best team on the court can win. You just need to be in it to win it with the finals, and if you turn up on the day and you play well, you have a healthy team that really believes that they can win, you can win the whole thing. Tali Tapaya probably expressing just how much of a missed opportunity that was for the Caps as we have a look at the final statistics in this game. And when it came down to it, there wasn't a lot of statistical differential between the two sides in the end, Steph, as well. Both teams in the end shooting the ball pretty well, 52% as well. The Caps going at from the field compared to the Melbourne Boomers, 49%. The Boomers just started to hit a few more shots as they got some rhythm and some momentum in that second half.
Yeah, they did, and they're a confidence team. So they're great shooters, and it's almost as if it's contagious. When one person starts shooting well, they all start shooting well, and it's great to see.
And from the free throw line, Melbourne 15 of 16. The Caps 8 of 13. They hit 7 more free throws than the Caps, and the result was a 2-point differential. That was a thrilling afternoon, Steph.
It was. It was great to be a part of, and loved calling such a beautiful game to watch.
And it was a thrilling afternoon on KO Sports. Hope you enjoyed it. On behalf of Steph Blitzars and the entire hard-working team, this is Ben Waterworth signing off from the National Convention Centre, where the Boomers made a championship statement, defeating the Caps 78-76 in Canberra. Good night.